The Galactic Council chamber was never quiet. It was a place where hundreds of alien voices argued, shouted, and hissed every day. Some spoke in high musical tones. Others used low rumbles that shook the metal floor. Normally, this place sounded like 100 storms at once, but today, the storms stopped. The giant doors of the council chamber slid open, and a single human walked inside. He was Earth's ambassador, dressed in a black uniform with a silver crest of a small blue planet. His boots echoed against the floor, each step louder than the whispers starting to rise in the crowd. No one in the galaxy liked surprise meetings. But this one was different. This one was called because of a child, a human child. It had started weeks ago. A skirmish between human scouts and a pirate band near the Rithan border had left wreckage floating in space. In the wreckage, the Rithan military found a small escape pod. Inside was a baby barely a few months old. The pirates had been defeated. But the child was taken to a secure medical station for examination. At first, it seemed like nothing unusual. Then the doctors began to notice strange things. Very strange things. The first whisper of fear. High Chancellor Velra, a tall insectoid with thin silver wings, stood at the central podium. Her compound eyes reflected the room's golden light as she looked at the human ambassador. Ambassador Kieran, Velra's voice clicked, cold and sharp. The council requests answers. This matter has unsettled many worlds. Kieran's face was unreadable. You're talking about the child. The room stirred, hundreds of alien eyes turning toward him. A long-necked Trothian from the far side of the chamber hissed, "Not a child, a weapon." Kieran's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Velra gestured to a hovering holodisplay. The medical report is clear. This infant survived conditions that should be impossible. The escape pod was breached. Air was lost. Temperature dropped below freezing. Yet the child lived. It also endured 3 different infections, a fracture, and malnutrition, and still survived. She paused, letting the silence settle. This, Velra continued, is not normal. The impossible DNA. The holoscreen changed to show a twisting spiral of DNA. Glowing markers highlighted certain areas. Council scientist Dr. Orath, a scaled reptilian with pale blue eyes, stepped forward. We analyzed the infant's genetic structure. It is unlike anything else in the Council's biological archives. Humans possess redundancy. If one biological system fails, another compensates instantly. He tapped a claw against the display. Their immune system is reactive and adaptive in hours. Their tissue regenerates at a speed far beyond any other mammal we know. Even their brain pathways rewire after injury. Murmurs grew louder in the chamber. Explain your point. A deep-voiced warrior from the Gornak Empire demanded. Orath's gaze swept the room. If this is not a unique mutation, if all humans are like this, they can survive anywhere, any climate, any disease, any injury short of instant death. The word survive echoed in the chamber like a warning. A dangerous idea, an elder from the pale-skinned Lyran people spoke slowly, his voice trembling. If this is true, then human population could grow unchecked. They could outlast famine, plague, war. The Trothian delegate hissed again. They would spread like a virus, not soldiers, not fleets, but by simply being born. Another voice cut in, low but firm. And what happens when such a species decides to expand? The question didn't need an answer. Every race in the Council knew the history of expansionist empires. Civilizations had fallen not only to weapons, but to populations that never stopped growing. Kieran speaks finally. Ambassador Kieran stepped forward. His voice was calm, but every word carried weight. You speak as if humans chose to be what we are. We didn't design ourselves. We adapt because we have to. Earth is a hard world. It gives nothing for free. Cold, heat, storms, hunger. We learned to survive because we had no other choice. He glanced at the hollow display of the infant's DNA. That child didn't survive because of some plan. She survived because that is what humans do. We survive, and when we survive, we grow stronger. Some council members shifted uncomfortably. Others watched with narrowed eyes. Velra's wings twitched. That is precisely the problem, Ambassador. If you can survive anything, how can the rest of us control your growth? Kiran's lips curved in the smallest of smiles. Perhaps you shouldn't try. Secrets and shadows behind the council floor, in the shadowed balconies, silent figures observed. These were not delegates. They were agent spies from every major power. Each one carried the same thought back to their homeworld. If this is true, humans could become the most powerful species in the galaxy. Without firing a single shot in the Council's private communication network, encrypted messages began to fly. From the Rithan homeworld, begin strategic review. Consider containment measures. From the Gornak Empire, assess possibility of preemptive strike. From the Lyran Confederacy, establish covert contact with human leadership. Fear was spreading faster than truth. The leak 3 days later. It happened. Someone no one knew who broke into the secure council medical archives. The human infant's genetic data, medical scans, and survival footage were stolen. Hours later, the information exploded across the galactic network. Billions of beings saw it. They saw the tiny child, eyes closed, breathing slowly inside a damaged pod. They saw its skin turning blue from cold, then pink again as it adapted. They saw blood tests that showed rapid healing. They saw doctors shaking their heads, calling it impossible. And they saw the conclusion written in bold letters: human birth, the most resilient life form discovered, galactic reaction on distant worlds. News screens glowed in the cold oceans of Glather. Aquatic cities buzzed with alarm. They can survive without water for days? One elder asked, horrified. On the hot deserts of Krithis, nomadic tribes paused in their endless migration to watch the footage. One whispered, they could walk here and never die. On a space station orbiting the red dwarf Vir 12, a gang of smugglers laughed. If they're that hard to kill, I want 3 on my crew. But not everyone laughed in war rooms and government halls. Leaders began to speak the same phrase. We cannot allow them to breed unchecked. The council's private meeting, the next council session, was closed to the public. Security was tight. Holoscreens showed only static outside the chamber. Inside, voices were tense. We must create limits, the Gornak general growled. Colonization caps, birth restrictions. Impossible to enforce, argued the Lyran elder. They would hide their children. We cannot police every human home. Then we must act before their numbers grow beyond control. Ambassador Kiran stood alone at the center. Are you suggesting genocide? No one answered. But silence can be more dangerous than words. An ally in the dark later. In the shadowed corridors beneath the council chamber, Kiran walked quickly. His footsteps echoed against the stone-like floor. A voice whispered from the darkness, Ambassador. Kiran turned. A tall, robed figure stepped forward, face hidden under a hood. I cannot stay long, the stranger said. But you must know, there is a vote tonight. The council will decide whether to contain your people. Contain? Kiran's voice was cold. Contain or eliminate? The stranger pressed a small data chip into Kiran's hand. This is proof. Use it wisely. Before Kiran could speak, the figure was gone. The red alert hours later. As the secret vote began, a new alarm cut through the chamber. Red lights pulsed. Sirens echoed. Velra turned sharply to the council's central console. What is it? A trembling aide answered. Unknown fleet. Entering human space. No identification codes. The chamber erupted into chaos. Kiran's eyes narrowed. Who sent them? No one answered. But he already knew. The end of the meeting, the council meeting, ended not with decisions, but with fear. Delegates rushed to their ships. Messages flew across the galaxy. The unknown fleet moved closer to Earth, silent and dark. Kieran stood alone at the great window of the council chamber, looking out at the stars. He knew the truth now. This was no longer about a single child. This was about all humans. And the galaxy had just decided to test how far human survival could go. The Galactic Network had never seen anything spread so fast. Billions of screens, from the ice rings of Hadris to the fiery skies of Zelker, were filled with the same image: a human infant. Its eyes were closed, its skin pale, a small chest rising. And falling inside a broken escape pod. The footage played again and again. The pod's outer shell had cracked during a pirate attack. Atmosphere leaked into space. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. A thin layer of frost covered the child's skin. On any other world, this was certain death. But then, something impossible happened. The baby's skin flushed pink. Its breathing steadied. Its tiny fingers curled, gripping the torn fabric of the blanket. The frost melted from its face, not from external heat, but from the warmth returning to its own body. The galaxy watches across the galaxy. Reactions were instant. On the trade moon of Vic 7, merchants stopped mid-bargain to stare at the public. Holoscreens. One old trader muttered, "That is not a child. That is a survival machine." On the floating crystal cities of Ulthra, scientists huddled together, whispering, "If they can survive in space, what else can they do?" In the endless desert of Krithis, a warrior clan gathered around a campfire. Their leader said only one thing: if they arrive here, nothing will remove them. The information came with reports, medical scans, DNA charts, doctor statements. The message was clear. Humans were born to endure anything. Fear in the council inside. The Galactic Council's private chambers, the mood was tense. The leak had undone all attempts to keep the information quiet. Every species now knew the truth. High Chancellor Velra's silver wings flicked in frustration. "This is worse than we feared. The public will demand answers, and answers will lead to panic." The Gornak general slammed a fist on the table. "Then give them no answers. We must act. The fleet is already on its way toward human space." The Lyran elder frowned. "And if the fleet fails, if humans truly are this resilient, they will never forget who tried to destroy them." Velra's gaze swept the room. "Then we make sure they never get the chance to fight back." Ambassador Kieran's challenge. Ambassador Kieran stood in the center, his expression unreadable. "You think fear will keep humans down? You think destruction will erase us? It won't. Every time we've been pushed, we've risen higher." The Gornak general snarled. "We are not afraid of war." Kieran's voice turned cold. "Then, you should be. Because humans don't just survive war. We learn from it. And we never fight the same battle twice." The words echoed through the chamber like a threat. The public reaction turns dangerous, while the council argued. The streets of alien worlds filled with protest and panic. In the crowded markets of Rithan Prime, merchants closed early, afraid of riots. Rumors spread that humans could survive poisons, outlive famine, even withstand vacuum without protection. On the peaceful water planet Thaleen, crowds demanded their leaders form alliances with Earth before it was too late. But on harsh warlike worlds like Gornak and Trathia, the talk was different. Public speakers shouted that humans were a galactic plague and must be removed before they multiplied beyond control. The first acts of aggression. Small incidents began to appear across the news. A human cargo ship in neutral space was destroyed by unknown attackers. Colonies that traded with humans suddenly found their supply lines cut. A space station housing human scientists was surrounded by a quarantine fleet. Ambassador Kieran knew these were tests probing Earth's response. But he also knew humans had limits. If pushed too far, they would not sit quietly. The secret. Meeting late one cycle, Kieran received a coded message from an unknown sender. Meet at docking bay 9. Come alone. He went. The docking bay was dimly lit, the air heavy with the smell of engine fuel. A hooded figure stepped from the shadows. It was the same robed stranger who had warned him in part 1. You were right, Kieran said quietly. The vote went against us. The stranger nodded. Yes, they call it containment, but what they mean is control through fear. The fleet heading to Earth. It's not for negotiation. What is it for? Sterilization. Kieran's fists clenched. They want to end our ability to grow. The stranger handed him a new data chip. This has names, ships, orders. Use it before it's too late. The fleet approaches in deep space, far from the Council's shining towers, the unknown. Fleet moved like a shadow, hundreds of warships. No broadcast signals. No diplomatic envoys. In the command chamber of the lead vessel, Admiral Sorvek studied a holomap of the solar system. First target, he told his crew, is their outer colonies. Then Mars, then Earth. We hit fast, no survivors. One officer hesitated. Admiral, what if the rumors are true? What if they can survive anything? Sorvak's lip curled. Then we'll see how they survive when there is nothing left to breathe, nothing left to eat, and nowhere to hide. Project Dawnlight, back on Earth. Human leaders already knew something was coming. Satellite arrays had picked up the feint. Engine trails of the approaching fleet. In a secure underground chamber, generals and scientists gathered. The leader of the meeting, General Mara Vuss, spoke firmly. We can't win by firepower. Not yet. They outnumber us 5-1. A scientist leaned forward. Then we don't fight them in open battle. We use Dawnlight. Kieran, who had just returned from the council, looked at the scientist. Dawnlight, is that ready? The scientist smiled faintly. It's been ready for years. No one in the room asked what Dawnlight was. But every face showed the same grim understanding. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. Signs of war. As the alien fleet entered the outer rim of human-controlled space, tensions boiled over across the galaxy. The mining colony on Ceres went silent, communications cut. 2 human diplomatic envoys vanished en route to neutral zones. Refugee ships from the frontier worlds began streaming toward Earth. The galactic network lit up with speculation. Some alien commentators called for peace. Others openly supported the fleet, claiming it was the only way to stop human spread. And somewhere in the chaos, a third group quietly began to prepare something else. Alliances in the shadows. A message. From home one night, Kieran stood alone in his quarters aboard the human embassy ship. A message played on the HOLO-screen. It was from his sister on Earth. She held her newborn child in her arms, smiling faintly. We're fine here, she said softly. Don't worry about us. We know you're doing everything you can. The image faded. Kieran stood in silence for a long time, his fists clenched. The galaxy might see human children as a threat, but to him, they were the reason humans would never stop fighting to survive. The last warning. The stranger in the hood appeared one final time, this time sending a direct encrypted signal to Kieran. The fleet will arrive in 7 cycles. The voice said, if you have a plan, you must act now. The Council will deny everything, and once the first strike begins, there will be no turning back. Kieran's voice was like steel. Then we won't turn back. The alien fleet did not send greetings. It did not request talks. It came in silence, cold, dark, and without mercy. In deep space, sensors on the outer human colonies picked up their arrival. Dozens, then hundreds of enemy ships dropped out. Of faster-than-light travel. Their black hulls reflected no light. They looked like moving shadows among the stars. For a moment, there was hope they might just pass through. But then, The first human outpost went dark. The first strike station. Vega 4 was a small mining base orbiting a dead moon. It had no heavy weapons, only scanners and cargo holds. The crew of 38 humans barely had time to send a distress call before the alien ships arrived. The enemy did not fire traditional weapons. Instead, strange pulses of blue energy struck the station's core. Systems failed instantly: power, oxygen, communications. The humans scrambled to seal airlocks, but the cold of space poured in faster than they could move. Within minutes, Vega 4 was gone. The distress signal reached Earth only as static. The Council lies back on the Galactic Council's homeworld. Ambassador Kieran stormed into the private chamber. "Your fleet is attacking our stations," he said. His voice was sharp but controlled. "This is an act of war." High Chancellor Velra tilted her head slightly. "The Council has authorized no such attack." "Don't insult me," Kieran snapped. "I know about the vote. I know about the orders. I have the names of the ships." Velra's silver wings shifted, the insectoid equivalent of a smirk. "If you have proof, present it. Until then, this is a matter between pirates and your people. Pirates don't command war. Fleets." She gave no answer. Kieran realized then what Velra already knew: the Council would hide behind lies while the fleet did its work. By the time the truth came out, it would be too late. Earth prepares in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. General Mara Voss studied a holographic map of the solar system. Red marks appeared where human colonies had gone. Silent. 5 outposts gone in the last 2 cycles, an officer reported. No survivors. Voss's jaw tightened. And the fleet? They're heading for Mars. Voss looked at the scientist standing at the edge of the room. "Then it's time. Prepare dawnlight." One of the scientists, Dr. Halden, hesitated. "Once we launch, there's no going back. Every species in the galaxy will see what we've done. They already decided to kill us," Voss said. "Now we show them why that's a mistake." Project Dawnlight revealed in a hidden facility on the far side of the moon. Massive hangar doors slid open. Inside were hundreds of long silver pods, each one sealed, each one humming with quiet power. They were not missiles. They were not bombs. Inside each pod was a human infant, but not ordinary infants. These children were part of a program decades in the making. Born from volunteers, enhanced with adaptive biology and environmental resistance far beyond normal humans. Their bodies could adjust to heat, cold, radiation, toxins almost instantly. They were meant for one purpose: survival anywhere. Dawnlight was not a weapon of destruction, it was a weapon of presence. Wherever these pods landed, humans would live. And once humans lived somewhere, they would never leave. The spy while Earth prepared, deep in the alien fleet. A Trothian intelligence officer named Sith worked in secret. Sith had seen the Council's orders. He knew the plan was not to fight Earth's armies, but to erase humanity's ability to grow. He didn't agree with it. Through an encrypted channel, Sith tried to send a warning to his homeworld. But before the signal could be sent, human Black Ops intercepted it. A voice came through his console, calm but dangerous. "You're trying to help us. Good. But you're in the wrong place to survive this war." The line went dead. Moments later, Sith's cabin door slid open. 2 humans in dark armor stepped inside. Mars stands when the alien fleet arrived above. Mars, they expected an easy target. The colonies were small, the defenses limited. But Mars was ready. Defense turrets rose from the red sands. Drones swarmed the skies. Rail cannons hidden in the canyons fired with deadly precision. For 3 hours, the Martian defenses held. They destroyed 6 alien ships before the enemy's numbers began to overwhelm them. From her command center on Earth, Voss watched the feed. She gave the order: launch Dawnlight Phase 1. Dawnlight Phase 1, from hidden silos on Earth, the Moon, and Mars. the first wave of Dawnlight pods launched into space. They did not head toward enemy ships, they scattered in all directions, toward habitable and hostile worlds alike. The alien fleet saw them as harmless objects and ignored them. Big mistake. Each pod carried a small landing system, capable of guiding it to the surface of almost any planet. Once there, its single passenger would adapt and grow no matter the environment. The Council had feared human birth. Now they would learn what it truly meant. The first landing one Dawnlight pod touched. Down on Varnies 3, a toxic swamp world where no Council species could live without heavy suits. Within minutes of landing, the pod opened. A newborn human, wrapped in adaptive biofilm, took its first breath of the poisonous air. Its body reacted instantly, filtering toxins, adjusting oxygen use. The baby's skin shifted color to block harmful light. It did not cry, it simply looked around, calm and alive. Alien drones monitoring the planet sent back footage. Scientists stared at the screen in disbelief. This is not possible. One whispered. Panic in the fleet when the Council warships realized what Dawnlight was. Panic spread through their ranks. These are not soldiers, one captain shouted overcomes. They're settlers. Once they're there, another replied. You can't remove them without wiping out an entire population. Admiral Sorvak growled. Then we destroy the pods before they land. But it was too late. Hundreds had already reached there. Targets. Kieran's warning from the human embassy ship. Kieran sent one final message to the Council chambers. You wanted to end human expansion. You failed. The moment you attacked us, you gave us the reason to ensure our survival forever. We will live on your worlds, in your skies, in your oceans. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. Velra received the message in silence. 4. The first time, her silver wings trembled. The cliffhanger in the final moments of Part 3. A Dawnlight pod makes a direct landing on the flagship of the alien fleet itself. The crew rushes to seal it off, but the pod door opens. Inside is a single human infant. It breathes in the recycled ship air, adapts instantly, and smiles. Alarms blare. Soldiers stare at the tiny human, as if looking at the future. And in the distance, hundreds more pods continue to fall toward alien worlds. The first wave of Dawnlight pods had already landed on many alien worlds. But this was only the beginning. Earth's leaders knew it was time for Phase 2, the moment when everything would change. The calm before the storm on Earth. The sun was setting over the city of New Denver. General Mara Vos stood at the top of the command tower, staring at the stars. Her face was calm but serious. Today, she said, we change the galaxy. Around her, scientists and officers prepared for the next step. The machines hummed. Lights blinked, and thousands of pods waited in secret launch bays beneath the surface. The fleet's growing fear far away. In the alien fleet's command ship, Admiral Sorvak's crew was restless. We are losing control, Sorvak said, watching. Reports from distant planets. Pods had landed on worlds considered uninhabitable. Some had even reached enemy capitals. Everywhere we strike, humans keep coming back, a captain said. Sorvak slammed his fist on the console. Stop them. But it was impossible. The secret weapon on the moon, deep underground, scientists activated the new Dawnlight pods. These were different. Inside each pod was not just a newborn human, but a special suit bioengineered. Armor that grew with the child. The suit could absorb energy, heal wounds, and even shield from weapons. It was the future of human survival. First, contact, the unexpected ally suddenly. A transmission arrived at the human command. It was from an unknown alien race calling themselves the Ancients. They claimed to have been watching Earth for centuries. The humans are not alone, the message said. We have been hiding, waiting for the right time. Ambassador Kieran watched the message in shock. Who are they? He asked. They say they evolved from early humans, a scientist replied. They are more advanced and peaceful. The battle on Varnes 3, the swamp world, was now a battlefield. Human infants, wearing their new armor suits, had grown quickly. They moved through the thick, toxic air with ease. Alien soldiers tried to attack but found their weapons useless. The babies adapted too fast. The turning tide back in space. The alien fleet was shrinking. Ships were being lost in strange ways. Some ships suddenly stopped working and drifted silently. Rumors spread that humans had found ways to hack alien technology. The Council's crisis inside the Galactic Council. Panic was clear. High Chancellor Velra called an emergency meeting. We underestimated humans, she said. We must find new ways to stop them. But no one had answers. Human diplomacy despite the war. Kieran reached out to the Council. We do not want endless war, he said. We want peace, but only if we can live and grow freely. Some aliens listened. Others were too afraid. The ancient humans joined. The ancients appeared in the skies of the galactic capital. Their ships were huge, glowing with blue light. They offered technology and knowledge to Earth. The Council was shocked. Final showdown begins with new powers. Humans pushed forward. The fleet was forced to retreat. Earth launched more dawn-like pods. They spread like seeds. Unstoppable. The cliffhanger ending of Part 4. The camera zoomed in on a young human in armor. His eyes glowed softly. He looked at the stars and smiled. The screen faded to black. Asterisk. Ending message. The galaxy will never be the same. The galaxy was changing faster than anyone had ever expected. Planets once silent now echoed with human voices. Colonies grew in places no one thought possible, but with every step forward, new dangers appeared. The new alliances after the ancients revealed themselves. Many alien species began to question the Council's harsh stance against humans. Some worlds opened their doors. They offered friendship. The Lyran Confederacy sent diplomats to Earth. The galaxy must unite, their leaders said. Humans welcomed the offer but stayed cautious. The birth nullifier. Not all were ready for peace. The anti-human faction of the Council worked secretly. They created a weapon called the birth nullifier. It was a device designed to stop human reproduction instantly. No baby could survive its signal. Shadows of War. One night, the birth nullifier was tested on a distant human colony. The colony's sky went dark as the device activated. Parents watched helplessly as their newborns gasped for air. But something unexpected happened. The human, miracle baby born on that day cried louder than ever. Its body glowed faintly. It adapted. It survived the nullifier. Word spread fast. Humans were more than resilient, they were unstoppable. The Council splits. News of the nullifier's failure caused chaos in the Council. Factions formed. Some wanted peace. Others wanted total war. The Council's unity was breaking apart. Resistance alien groups who supported humans began to form a resistance. They shared technology, spies and plans together. They worked to protect human colonies. The galactic war. Open battles broke out. Spaceships clashed in deep space. Planets burned, but humans fought with heart. Their strategy was survival. Every loss was a lesson. The final Alliance Ambassador Kieran met with the resistance leaders. We fight not just for Earth, but for all who believe in freedom. They planned one last strike against the Council's heart, the secret weapon behind the scenes. Scientists worked on a new creation, a weapon that was not made to kill, but to change the galaxy forever. The cliffhanger ending of Part 5 as the new weapon powered up. The Council's capital city was attacked. Explosions rocked the city. In the chaos, Kieran looked at the sky. He whispered, "This is only the beginning." The galaxy's fate hung in the balance. The galaxy waited, holding its breath. The war had shaken planets, destroyed cities, and split alliances. But now, something even bigger was about to change everything. The arrival of the ancients in the dark space above the Council's capital world. A massive fleet appeared. Their ships were different, smooth, glowing with blue light, and silent. No one recognized them. The Galactic Council's leaders gathered in panic. High Chancellor Velra paced nervously. Who are they? A message came through the communication system. We are the ancients, said a calm voice. We once were like humans. We shaped life across many worlds. We watched Earth grow in secret. Now we return. The truth unfolds. Ambassador Kiran stood before the council. The room filled with tension. The ancient leader spoke. Millions of years ago, our ancestors left Earth to explore the stars. We seeded human life across galaxies. Your strength and survival are part of our design. Murmurs filled the room. This is why humans can survive anything, the ancient continued. We made you to be the galaxy's guardians. The council's shock. The council members looked at each other in disbelief. This changes everything, Velra said quietly. One elder asked, if humans are our ancestors, how can we fight them? Kiran smiled. We are not here to fight. We want to build together. The new era begins. The ancients offered gifts, technology to heal planets, machines to protect life, and knowledge to travel faster and safer. Earth accepted. The Galactic Council agreed to a new alliance, stronger than before. The human epoch. On many planets, humans born in dawnlight pods thrived. Their bodies adapted, their minds grew, and they taught other species how to survive and grow. The galaxy entered the human epoch, a time of growth, peace, and discovery. A child of the stars. In the final scene, a young human child stood on a strange alien world. Her skin shimmered under a foreign sun. She looked to the stars. Her eyes glowed softly. She smiled. The galaxy's future was in her hands. The ending. Ambassador Kiran spoke one last time to the Galactic Council. Humans were born to survive. Now, we are born to lead. Together, we will build a galaxy of hope. The room erupted in applause. The war was over. The future was just beginning. The story closes on a hopeful note. Humanity's special place in the galaxy is now clear.